And now it's time for Coffee Talk with Ash C. and
Brittany.
We get to
spill the tea.
Thanks to
EFB.
Thank you, Electric Fountain Brewing. We are here today at the table talking about the library.
Yes.
It's been in the news a lot lately, just over the years. I mean, it's like, when's the last time you went to the library?
I don't want to talk about it because I guess that makes, I feel like by saying I don't go there that often and I'm using, my phone, or if I want to...
That it makes you biased about what's happening here?
Yeah.
Well, aren't we anyway?
Well, I feel like the whole thing is a big old virtue signaling, scandal, if you will. So the library is going to be in the news again. In the following weeks here, they're getting ready to make their budget presentation to the Quincy City Council, and they will be asking for more subsidies.
More, keyword, more.
Well, another round as this is the new budget. So last year they asked for some. The city is replying back with potentially doing away with all of it and making the library their own taxing body. That's kind of in the works, in a discussion. There's a post that's been going around. Mr. Jim Brown posted it, and a lot of people are sharing it. And that's where it got kind of brought to my attention that some of the people that are sharing it, I don't think realize the whole picture. And that's what I want to discuss with you today, is the whole picture.
Yeah.
So we all believe that reading is good, right? And, I think like we all generally support public access to educational materials, especially when they have to do with actual books and reading, because I do think that's super important. Like when I said I don't really go to the library so much because I'm using the internet and my phone. Also, I love reading myself.
But
and I love a good book.
We understand that different demographics need it, use it. We understand that. Just because we're not frequenting it doesn't mean that we don't see the importance.
Absolutely.
Right?
I have the privilege of being able to purchase whatever book it is that I'm wanting to read for leisure.
Yeah.
Now, if I do have time, if I'm writing like a paper or something and I need articles from the past, that is when I will use it. So
Going for the microfiche?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have a lot of the ancient Herald Whig articles from time to time, if I'm doing a local article, I do have to reference those, and it's easier sometimes to have those right in front of you if you're working, whatever. So I don't want to say...
No, we understand the importance.
It's been like maybe a year.
Okay. So, but while we understand, I mean, it's been longer for me, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
That was that answer.
It doesn't make me feel good to say that, because I do understand the importance. I understand that it is a quote unquote, affordable resource for families to go and enjoy different activities, different community events, actual reading, family time. I do understand the importance. That being said, there's already a tax levy. As the taxpayers, even if it were a different taxing body, we are still paying for it already, okay? Even if we don't give them more money, we as Quincy, Illinois, as taxpayers, we do pay for the library's existence.
Yes.
Okay? So what is being proposed is we need more money. We need you to subsidize more of what we're doing, because we don't want to have cuts in personnel, resources, et cetera, which again, I can't say I'm not against them asking for it. I am against prioritizing that with all of the other things that we have the need for in Quincy, Illinois, right?
So I do want to say, this is the perfect example of Quincy, Illinois, I feel like, in a nutshell, with the library. So back in 2010 or 2012, the library made an expansion which almost doubled the size of the library. Now, this increased all their costs in both heating and cooling, electricity, maintenance, and staff and personnel. I'm not exactly sure why you needed to increase your staff and personnel with square footage, but I believe a lot of it had to do with additional programming, like you said, additional resources. Now, there was nothing lacking about the old library other than it didn't compare to maybe other libraries that other places had.
Okay.
I still use the library. That's actually when I used the library the most
yeah.
was back in, the 90s, early 2000s when I was writing papers for college, blah, blah, blah. And it never stressed in terms of occupancy. Like, it wasn't like the library was packed and we needed more room. But we wanted something bigger and better. And that is Quincy in a nutshell. Now we have something bigger and better.
But
and
we can't afford
10 years later, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
So this is my analogy. And maybe not a lot of people are going to like this analogy. But this is how I see it. The library is like, it was a life raft. Or we are all on a life raft. And the library is now the 500-pound person that is on the life raft.
Okay.
Thinking that they need more provisions than
anyone else.
And that they're entitled to it because they're 500 pounds.
Yeah.
This is where you need to whittle your way down and probably learn to self-sustain within your means. Now, I do want to talk about that breakdown real quick. So if you're absolutely right, like we're paying for this regardless as taxpayers. Sure. If they do break away, though, as their own taxing body entity, then now the city doesn't have the overhead to say, no, we won't give you those subsidies. If they do break away and they have their own taxing body, then they kind of get to, I believe, I might be wrong on this, but they get to kind of go with the budget that whatever their board members decide. Now, we get to decide those board members.
Yes.
Currently, the board administration is decided, I think, primarily from, appointments from the city.
Yeah, okay.
And right now, the board, regardless whether you like to admit it or not, we have an agenda.
Sure.
The library used to be there for you, go there for your resources, for your papers, and you look up what you want to look up. Now, there's big displays saying, check this book out. Check this one out. And I mean, yeah, they might have always had those front displays, but were they ever needing money and funding from the state level? I'm not saying we're taking it locally, but at the state level, we got grants to push material to people in that banned book process.
Right.
And that was very agenda leading. We were literally putting pornography in the hands of children. I'll say it over and over again because that's exactly what it was.
Right.
The board pushed for that, wanted that. Now if they become their own taxing body, this is the only thing that kind of worries me, I think, are they going to be able to push whatever they want? Is anything going to go? How many people are going to...
But then we decide, and I think the difference is going to be that it won't be kind of like snuck into the general fund. If you're going to see how much money they're asking for, you're going to see how much of your tax dollars on your tax bill is going to the library. You then get to kind of decide, do you feel that it's that important?
I don't know if we get to decide the budget. We're going to get to decide who's on the board. And then the question is, how many people are going to go out on the board and stand up and do what is right? We're already having a hard time finding city council members that even want to do it. I know there are so many people that are like, man, I would really like to do this, this, and this because there's a calling for it. It's obviously needed.
But then I guess I have the question of, if it's its own taxing body, does that mean they just get to put forth a budget and we say yes as a city? Because I don't think that's how it happens either.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I know that they won't have, though, I don't think they have the city overhang if it's not under the city budget.
But if it's not under the city budget, they still have to have their own budget, which currently they don't have.
Yes.
So then how does the city then... I guess
it might all be it might all. My guess is it will all be on a vote is how it will probably.
It's going to be the tax levy that we're already paying because I think that is our tax duty.
Yes,
right. That's
but then
our
your board,
responsibility.
Your Quincy Library Board is going to vote on their own budget if that happens that way.
Okay.
Is my guess.
So then we just get stuck with whatever budget they decide.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I do know that.
We probably need to do some more homework on this, but I think that...
But I think we also, like I said, this is the prime example of what we always are talking about when Quincy wants more and more and more, and then we've bit off more than we can chew, and now look at where we're at. And look at where we're at with the library. The 500-pound guy on the raft is wearing the shirt that says reading is good.
Yeah.
And I'm being
facetious. But I mean,
But the virtue signaling behind that, of course. Every single one of us wants this resource of books in the hands of people.
But we also, I don't think that makes it wrong for us to say we also think that it's okay that the library have some self-sustaining measures in place.
It's perspective versus reality.
Yeah.
And for those that are saying, man, the city is just wanting to cut the funding of, it's like, come on and live in here in reality with the rest of us.
Well, also they're the same ones who are saying, I can't believe our taxes are so high because we have to pay pensions. Well, again, it goes back to we want all the things. We cannot afford all the things. So we have to say what is most important. Obviously, if you are very, if you're adamant about having the library, volunteer. Make it so that they don't need more personnel. Let's come up with different out-of-the-box ideas so that we make the library possible, but also lessen the burden on the taxpayers. I don't think that's too much to ask. I think it's okay that you say, we understand the importance of a library, and no, we can't afford to subsidize it any longer.
Yes, that is the big deal with this whole conversation, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at, is it is okay to agree with the fact that you enjoy
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and that's a lot of things with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that could go down to universal health care.
I say it all the time. Because
housing situation.
Everything has gotten so muddied by government involvement that it's like, obviously we want you to be here, but why can't you do it without everybody?
Perspective versus reality. So let's, take that in hand. And speaking of perspective versus reality, I want to know the reality in this headline.
Okay, so let's just tie it back to the Quincy Public Library. If you don't think anything is possible, let me go ahead and tell you this little nugget of a story. Okay, quadruple amputee, not only a cornhole champion, also now an alleged murderer.
Alleged.
Right? So
quadruple amputee means?
No arms, no legs. So he just basically has his trunk and his head, right?
Mm-hmm. We haven't had any images online, have we?
I think I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually pretty attractive.
Because sometimes when that's the case, there's more, you know what I'm saying? Like when we were trying to wonder, like,
sure,
you could
like how far, what's the
technically
level
you could
of
be an amputee with a hand missing.
Sure. But even so,
without thumbs, how are you?
Pretty incredible. How are you shooting a gun?
I can't shoot a gun with what I have.
I mean, no. Also, to drive around with this person in your car, which I think they were friends, so I take back that you're attractive because that automatically makes you unattractive. But you're a cornhole champ. You're now an alleged murderer. You got your friends. No, they didn't help him. They got out of the car and made him do it on his own. He must have had to take like a real quick left turn to get the body out. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not making light of it. But
it's just, did you use your teeth or your wiener?
I mean, I can't speculate on that. All I'm saying is anything is possible, guys. Good, bad, or ugly. I think that, again, tying it back to the library situation, the city, we're strapped as taxpayers, as a general fund, because we want to be all things for all people. And we just can't.
Just like that dude's friends said no, we should say no too.
Just say no.
Even if you are a quadriplegic and you like reading.
I just think that, we have to learn to, again, draw the line in the sand that there's only so much we can do. Obviously, we want the library to be here. Obviously, we want all these other programs. I wish the pensions would just go away. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury, so we have to make responsible decisions in other areas. And unfortunately, in my mind, library, we can't give you any more money.
Yeah.
That's just where we are. I don't know what it looks like as your own taxing body. I just think you have to make do with what you currently have. And if that means making cuts, welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Because we've had to make cuts every day because of all of the things getting thrown our way.
I think about that, about just originally adulting and the cuts that have been taken from my curbside recycling.
Yeah.
Now if I want to recycle, I have to make time out of my day to take it to one of the stations. The biggest thing being is the trash service, you know, as it raises, I've had to shop for different trash services.
Well, and so that's what I was going to say. Also, thank you for reminding me. This year it's this much. Next year prices don't go down because we don't have that luxury. So next year, how much is it going to be?
Yeah.
At some point, we have to be able to self-sustain or learn to make the important decisions that a library board has to make. Make some cuts. I like that the bookmobile is back. Do I like all of the choices that are being offered on it? No. Maybe if they did more of these, made more decisions that reflect the general public, it would be more on board with subsidizing.
Also, I do remember hearing in the minutes with the mayor, I believe they have 29 people on staff.
Okay.
Now I think that's just including full and part-time.
Okay.
And I don't want to say just, because we have
it's a pretty big crew.
7 here at Muddy River News. I mean, I don't want to, but we're 24/7, and
I think that there's an opportunity to, again, look outside of what you're currently doing. Don't just settle for status quo and say, well, this is how it is, so we need more money.
Yeah.
At some point, we have to you have to look at everything and say, where can we, where should we, right? Make cuts or thin out a little bit. I'm not saying personnel, but there's got to be somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to see like how it works for the most part, but I kind of do think thinning out personnel to a degree, just for the mere fact that everybody would think, I don't know, if you're working for the library, you believe in it. It's something you've dreamed of doing. It's the same thing here, where I've always believed in a locally owned news source. I do 5 people's jobs because I believe in what I'm doing.
Sure.
Believe in what you're doing. It's not always all about the money, and
yeah, we got to make some tough calls here, but I do not think any future subsidizing from the city should happen. Sorry to draw that line in the sand, but sometimes we got to do that.
Some people do voluntarily give money to things that, are outside their own business. One of the businesses that are doing this locally is our Good News Brews this week. It is Wine Gal meets Whiskey Guy. I just call it WG's. I love WG's. You guys. WG's is the easiest way to put it. And they are actually rocking. Every Wednesday they do a live performance. And these last couple of Wednesdays, and including tonight as you're watching this, will be the last Wednesday that they're doing it. They're serving a drink called the Beacon.
Okay.
And all the proceeds of this smooth vodka drink goes towards Michelle Haubrick and her family. The Beacon is named after Justin Haubrick, the smooth guy that, played all the music, had all the words.
Yeah.
And
just a beacon of light in their community and for their family.
And in light of his tragic passing, they are trying to help the family. They're a big family that's going to need help in the future. And every little bit counts. So on Wednesday night, well, tonight, as you're watching this, go out to WG's and order the Beacon.
Yeah, great people there, obviously. Great News Brews, I love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also vodka.
Also vodka, yay, because who doesn't need it in today's world full of expenses and taxes and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
What's not in our coffee is vodka, but we have delicious coffee from EFB. Thank you.
Thank you, EFB, because we also need that. Everybody can use a great pick-me-up. If you are in need of a pick-me-up, go hit up EFB. They got just the thing for you.
Yep.
I mean, they got something for everybody. All right. On that note, I think that does it for today's
Coffee Talk.
Catch you next time.